on the Regents exam, it is highly probable there will be sentences with the given. Okay? But there are given things that are true, there's a picture, and then there's a thing we're trying to prove. So, friends, how many different ways can we, how many, so that's a number answer, how many different ways can we prove triangles are congruent? How many theorems are there? How many? 5. Great. So what are they, everybody? Triangle congruence. Side, side, side.
Side angle, side.
Side angle, side.
Angle, side angle.
Angle, side angle.
Hypotenuse, leg.
Hypotenuse, leg.
Angle, angle, side.
Angle, angle, side. So no angle, angle, angle. No side, side angle, aka the donkey theorem. Okay, so that's going to be the end of our proof. Excellent. I've got a big empty space here. What should I do with my straight edge? Make like a T-chart, right? So I'm going to make a horizontal line. And I'm going to make a vertical line. And the left side of the chart is called statements. And the right side of the chart is called reasons. These are fairly short proofs that we're doing, maybe 4 steps. This one's 4 steps. So one of the steps is going to be the given. One of the steps is going to be the end of the proof, which is the proof statement, but we got to get the right reason with it. But we start off by reading the givens and marking the diagram. So the first given is AD is congruent to AB. Woo, I have a set of congruent sides. So I need to mark my picture with that information. How do we mark it? What do we make? Like the tick marks, yep. Or hatch marks. AD, AB. Ooh, not opposite sides, are they? Nope. Okay, this one is a new one. So this is going to be one of our 3x5 cards today. It says AC, which is a segment, bisects angle ADAB. And A is the letter in the middle, so that's important. So when we mark angles, get marked with arcs. So you can do this with colored pencils, or you can literally trace it out, whatever you need to do. Today is the day I'm going to do it all with major visualizations. So I go to this and I'm like, oh, AC bisects DAB. You have to be able to see that because the arcs don't go here, here, here. The arcs go up here, and this angle is congruent to that angle, right? Okay. Hey, man, I have a set of congruent angles here, but is this part done? Is it a congruency statement yet? Not yet. Okay. So to be able to use these items over here, we need 3 congruency statements. Now we're heading towards maybe one of these 2, right? Can we probably cross out side, side, side? We got no right angles. I don't know. Oh, wait, what was the name of the lesson, friends? Proofs with what?
Something reflexive side.
Ooh, do we have a shared side?
Yes, we do.
So what do we put on a shared side?
An X.
Very good. Awesome. And then what we can actually see is that it's going to be, I need a red maybe, side, angle, side. Do you see that? The 2 sides with the angle in the middle. So I know how my proof is now going to end. That was a whole planning stage, right? We haven't done much yet. Let's go ahead and start writing our steps. Okay, so the first step is always going to be the information that was given to you. It is okay to use abbreviations, but you really can't leave huge parts out. This one you would write down exactly what's there. AD is congruent to AB. AC bisects angle DAB. So what this kind of tells me is I already have one side that's a congruency statement. I'm going to need at least 2 more steps for my other things. So step 2. The reflexive side is points that everyone can get, right? Okay, so you just name the side. And the order of the letters does not matter, but you put AC is congruent to AC. It's congruent to itself. Okay, and that's going to be, for those of you that were absent, we drew a picture, not this picture, but a different picture that had a shared side. We made a flashcard for that. Okay, and so what do we put on this side? Because it has to be a complete statement, reason, pair. We put down the word reflexive, or you could put down reflexive property. I tend to write reflexive property. It's just my reflex. Okay. All right, so now let's deal with the thing that is new for this proof. All right, so the thing is we have to do our set of angles. So this is a side, right? We have a side over here. So we have our 2 sides, and the order that it's in the proof doesn't matter. The order that it's on the picture is the side angle side. Okay, so you don't have to do it in the order of like the theorem. Okay, so we need to name the 2 angles that are congruent. We know the middle letter is going to be the letter A. So I usually start on the outside. This angle is going to be angle DAC, right? Name the other angle on your paper. There are 2 right answers. You could put CAB or BAC. Either of those will work. Okay? A has to be the letter in the middle. Could I use just angle A? Would that be okay to use for this situation? No. Very good. All right, so now we move on to this. Okay, so now the reason side is kind of a definition or some sort of explanation of why this is true. You can think of this line being the word because. So we go back to what we have. AC is an angle bisector, right? So an angle, so I'm going to use the symbol, an angle bisector divides an angle into, and this sounds familiar with the ones that we did on the front of this page, 2 congruent. Now you just have to be careful. Everything in here is about angles. So 2 congruent angles. And now in our proof, we have 3 congruency statements, right here, here, and here. And now we can say that our triangles are congruent. So you copy the line that's the prove line. Triangle ADC is congruent to triangle ABC. And then don't forget to throw down its reason. We already figured it out. Yep. What is it going to be, Luca?
It will be side angle side.
Very good. Side angle side.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. So for those of you that missed Friday, and that's a couple of you guys, okay, right? Does this kind of make sense what we're doing? We did, so I want you to just go back to think about angle puzzles. Remember how I was kind of forcing you, like why can you figure out the angle A is 37 degrees? Because the sum of the angles in the triangle, right, has to be 180. Or why is angle A 37 degrees? Because those 2 angles form a linear pair, right? It's the whole idea of this is triangle specific and this is mathematical reasoning for the truth of it. So Josh, does that kind of make a little bit of sense? Josie, yes? Yes, yes. Okay. So let's do one more, and then we'll do our 3x5 cards, and we'll quickly introduce the next lesson so we can do all of our 3x5 cards. Okay, so this one is intense. And the reason why it's intense is because wow, there's a perpendicular bisector. Perpendicular bisectors can do a lot. And that's actually the only thing they've given us. So why don't we start by just making our T-chart and writing down the given and maybe looking for something that's in the picture. So don't forget to open your eyes and look at what's in the picture. All right, so use your straight edge to make your T-chart. Statements is on the left. If you want to abbreviate perpendicular, the easiest way is to make the symbol, honestly, right? Perpendicular bisector. Bless you, hon. Okay. So now, we can jump into what we see or we can jump into the perpendicular bisector. Sometimes it's good to do the reflexive right away so you don't forget to do it. Does everybody see our reflexive side, our two triangles? So I'm going to put an X there and get that in my proof right now. Okay, so what would I write on the left-hand side under statements? Jason, can you tell me? What did I just put an X on? BD. Yeah, so if I just write BD, is that enough? What do I have to write? Who knows? How many people know? It's right on the Adeline, what do you put? I'm going to just change the word to segment, right? Because a line can go on in both directions. Does that make sense? You have the right symbol. So a line segment, so we just say segment typically. Or side. You could use that language too. Okay, that's reflexive. Okay. At this point in the game, how many congruencies do we have for our triangle congruencies? We need 3. Do we have even 2 yet?
Give me both 3.
Right now in our proof, how many do we have? We just have, how many congruency symbols? We just have 1. Does that make sense? We have a set of sides. So let's just go back and you guys, I can tell some of you are seeing it. Perpendicular means we have 90-degree angles that need squares, right? Bisector means that BD is cutting this guy, right, into 2 equal pieces, ticks on AC. That's the bisector piece, right? So it's kind of like, whoop, like all of that goes together. Do I normally draw all these arrows on my proof? I don't. But who's the guy that's getting bisected? AC. AC is getting bisected. Here's my tick marks for it, right? And then where are those angles? There they are. Now, it doesn't matter which one you put in first, but we need to put both of them in. And they have to go in 2 separate lines. Okay? All right. So the bisector part is very similar to the ones we did on the other page. Even the angle bisector one, it connects to that. So this is how we change it. So we can say that AD is congruent to CD. And you're going to notice that there's always this connection between what you were given and what goes in the reason. Okay? So, AD is congruent to CD because a perpendicular bisector divides a segment Guess how it ends, everybody? Into,
Two congruent sides.
I say two congruent segments. Yep. Those happen to be sides, but it's not like, so it's not perpendicular divides a side into two congruent sides. Do you see how the word replacement doesn't work? So that one mimics all the other ones we've done, right? Now this is the one that's a little bit different. I think this is our first time doing right angles. Am I right? Yeah, I think it's the first time we've done right angles. So right angles can be necessary for HL, because then we have to say we have right triangles, but right angles just might be right angles, okay? So let's take a moment to just go back into our picture. Are we doing HL for these triangles? Do we have the hypotenuse? No. Do we have side, angle, side?
Yes, we do.
Yes. So we're going to be doing side, angle, side. So we don't need to talk about angle, right triangle. We need a set of congruent angles. Okay. So here we go. We need to name those angles. All right. Let's see. Liliana, can you name the angle that's on the left for me?
90 degrees.
Okay, so the three letters to name it. Angle, blah, blah, blah.
ABB.
So ABD means I'm up here at B. So ADB. So where the vertex is, right, that's got to be the middle letter. So you could go BDA or ADB. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's go BDA. I like that one better. Okay, angle. BDA. And then what's kind of cool is that sometimes when you name an angle, it'll help you name the other angle. So I already started this one with BDDA. This one's the same letters except for BD, and now we're going over to angle C, BDC. Okay, and here we go. So it starts off the same, and now this is going to be a new ending for us. Perpendicular bisector forms, and now they form right angles, but we have to add one more thing into there. They form, perpendicular bisector forms congruent right angles. Close this one, we are, right? Because we have, so not in the order that it's in the proof, but do we have a side, right? And we have another side, and we have a set of angles, and oh my gosh, Mr. Rupp, that spells naughty words, but who cares? Because it's not that way on the picture, right? On the picture, it's side, angle, side, agreed? So, and you don't have to write that stuff in there. Like, I'm just trying to show you guys how we make sure we check off all the boxes before we get there. So this is side, angle, side. And it's our names of our triangles, and I can't remember if they named them different up the top. ABD is congruent to triangle,
CBD.
thank you, CBD. What's an interesting thing about the symbols, like say, in the very beginning of the year, I don't know if you guys remember, I was like, you need the right symbols, don't put a line on top of an angle. If you put it, if you just write, this is where it happens. If you just write ABD is congruent to CBD, I don't know if you're talking about the angles or the triangles. Does that make sense? But if you put at least one, I'm not saying that this is a shortcut, but this is a grace that we show you. If you remember at least one symbol, we assume the second symbol is the same. Does that make sense? Okay, it's kind of like when you write coordinate pairs. If you wrote 3, 2, we assume the other one is on the end. Okay, so really quick before we do our 3x5 cards, this is the only thing because I want to do a 3x5 card for this one today. Your next lesson, we're doing some with vertical angles. Okay, and then just let's remember something about vertical angles. We have lines that intersect. What's true about this angle over here and this angle over here?
They are vertical angles, which means they're congruent.
Yeah, so all we have to do for vertical angles is vertical angles are congruent. Okay, so let's just kind of backtrack. How many clean 3x5 cards do we need? 1, 2, can do everything for bisector on that. 3. We need three 3x5 cards out of your packet. Okay, let's get that done. All right. All right, so what we're doing is instead of writing the pair, we're kind of doing it almost diagonally. So in this proof up here at the top, we were given this statement, which required us to write this reason. So we're trying to connect it as like a visual match. Thank you. All right, so AC bisects angle, and I think it was DAB. Now, some of you might want a picture of that.
Is this one from the card or back?
6 of one, half a dozen of the other, whichever way you like to do it. You might want to write down that this is from page 8, top, right? If you're trying to figure out like what's going on. If you want a picture of it, you know, you could do a picture. I'm not going to throw a picture on there. I'm running out of space. Does that make sense? But you could do a picture if you want. Okay. All right, so that was kind of like, that was the given. Eventually, we're going to need to write a statement that reflects it. So when we flip it over, now on the back, we're going to write that reason that goes with it. So an angle bisector divides an angle into 2 congruent angles. Right? Is that what we have written on page 8, right? Okay. So now we're going to do one for perpendicular bisector, right? Okay. So card 4 is going to be, let's see, the wording was, it doesn't really matter, but BD, BD is the, and so this is where you might be like, what's the key words? Perpendicular bisector of, I think it was AC. AC. This was page 8 bottom. If you want to add that. And then it's up to you. If a picture helps you, you can put it on the front, you can put it on the back, totally up to you. But for this one, we're going to want to like maybe do a first conclusion and then a second conclusion, right? Because there's 2 things you can conclude from that. So the first one is, I'll do the right angles first. A perpendicular, so I'm going to use symbols now. A perpendicular bisector forms, now here's our crazy habit, right? We have to put congruent right angles okay. And then the second one starts off the same, a perpendicular bisector. And this is the bisector part of it. So if you want to, like, this was the perpendicular part, this is the bisector part. Divides a segment into 2 congruent segments. All right, And we're going to do one more. So if you have a 5th card, we'll do that one, and then I'll catch up with people and hand out your homework assignment. Am I going too fast? Sorry. So for the last one, we're going to have a picture on the front, because remember, there's no words that you would get in the given for this last one. So for our last one, this is card number 5. Whoa, I don't know why I do that. I would just maybe do like, sorry. I would maybe just do like an X, like that, and then just put like, close them off to the so they kind of look like congruent triangles. They're not great. And you could do your top and bottom, or you could do the sides. They could be really obtuse triangles. It doesn't matter. But the deal is because we're looking for pairs of angles inside, right? So you would mark with arcs. And then you would have to be able to name them, but it's a congruent angle statement. But the thing you have to say is you have to say vertical angles are congruent. And you can use the symbol, or you can write the word, whatever you're more comfortable with. All right, so let me pass out your assignment. Like I said, it's 2 proofs on the front. You would want to use the givens and then find your 3x5 card that has the same given, right? That could help you if you wanted to, or you could use your notes. The back is multiple choice. We really need to draw pictures and interact with the multiple choice. Those of you that were absent, you definitely want to go back and do the video, right? And you also want to look at, the video will take you through the first 3 questions of the Delta math, okay? And then, whoops, one too many, there you go. And then I think that's it. I'm here to help anybody that needs help.